Welcome back. Welcome back to the course, Privacy and Security in Online Social Media, Week 7, Part 1. We're halfway done with the course. So I hope that you are able to appreciate the content that we're seeing as part of this course, and definitely able to connect with the content, right? Especially outside the class, outside the course. One of the critical things that I keep repeating, saying, please make connects to the content outside the class. As always, any questions, any feedback, any thoughts about the content that you're seeing, feel free to post it on the discourse. So what we are going to look at for this part is to see how we can actually change the user behavior. Okay. So what have we been seeing until now? We've been seeing that, let's take social media data. Let's analyze the data. Let's get some patterns, right? And then get some actionable information, right? How this actionable information can be used, so to say, privacy, personal data that is available, fake news that is available, right? All of this is what we were looking at. We never touched on, so to say, user behavior, user side of the problem, right? We saw a little bit about what are they seeing, what does the user see, the privacy settings. We saw what is privacy settings, how users are getting to view the privacy settings, what control do they have over the information, all of that. Now let's just look at what are the privacy questions, privacy behavioral changes that we can actually bring about in the user. Some small things that we did, which I directly did not say that as user behavior, is if you remember in the linkability part in the last week, we saw this content called linkability, and in that we saw Finding Nemo, where the user behavior, where we were showing it as a red color or a green color for the Facebook post, saying this is, if you post this, the linkability is very high, and if you post this, the linkability is very low. We've seen some user studies, right? But let's focus on privacy and user studies, particularly on social networks. So generally, if you think about why studying users are important, is that when you build any technology, particularly in security technologies that are being built, there are multiple ways to look at the solutions. One is silently eliminate the threat, which is, look, the problem is there, the spam problem is there. Don't worry about telling any user, don't worry about building any technologies that the users can use. Just make the spam filter better at the back end, put it on the server, let it work better, right? Let it work well. Let the emails be caught at the server itself. That's the silently eliminating the threat. Or the regulation, right? Regulation is that, look, you put so GDPR, right? Right to forget, right? You create the policy, you create a regulation saying that, look, Facebook has to delete my information if I request Facebook to delete. Or if a breach happens in the company and if the data is shared with a third party and it is found, the company is accountable for so much of money as fine. So these are things that users are not part of the solution, and the problem is getting solved at a level before the user. The next one is, warning user interface solutions, which is even the linkability one, you can think of it in that category. Right? You want to build solutions where you present it to the user and let the user decide what to do with that information. You're presenting it as a warning, you're presenting it as a user interface solution. It is on the browser, it is on the phone app, it is on the browser extension. All of that is the second category of solutions. The third one is train the user. Look, I built a spam filter. It is not catching all the spam emails, and then some emails come through. And I also gave a browser extension, browser information, HTTPS, HTTP, or the credibility score, web of trust score. All that is presented on the browser Chrome extension, browser app, but nothing. Users are still seeing, users still clicking on links, users still believe that it's actually a real website. And can you train the user saying that, look, I think even after these two solutions, you get to see it, please don't believe it. So that's the kind of solutions that one can build in the context of security. All right. So we are going to look at the second part. That's our goal, right? We're going to look at user behavior, where we can actually build technologies that they can use. What all online disclosures that we do? Right? Disclosure, if you have to define it loosely, as information that we provide, information, data, context, all that we provide online. What all do we do, right? We, for example, in my case, I say the location of my travel, right? Hashtag hello, hashtag Delhi. Right. So, and I'll also put saying 24 hours. Right. So what does this say? This says that, look, I'm going to be in Delhi for next 24 hours. I'm disclosing that information, right? Or the other posts that I don't do mostly, I see people doing, is that they would geotag the post and take a selfie and post it with friends, right? So in this case, what happens is they would, location where you're traveling is exact location is also can be taken from this post. In my case, Delhi is there, but the exact location is not available, right? Many disclosures, right? I'm presenting at a conference, this talk. I am visiting my friend here. Taking pictures and tagging people and posting, right? Lots of disclosures that we do. I'm assuming you understood what disclosures are now. But do we regret about any of them? Right? Just to stop the video in a second, and then think about what regrets have you ever had. For example, regrets are you post a picture at some point in time, X years, you go delete them, right? Delete the pictures. Sometimes you block the user, block, delete, unfriend, right? Lots of these regrets happen, right? Regrets, again, regrets, please treat it as a continuum. Let's take least affected, let's take least affected regret to most. I've had students come to me saying they're having trouble with their friends posting on their Facebook timeline, Facebook messages, and troubling them with some content. Right? Because they are connected with them, they actually get to message, right? So regrets can be at different levels. Regrets can be of these kind of messages. Regrets can be of you posted something which troubled somebody. You posted. Regrets also could be. I've seen people sort of say share these kind of regrets also, which is you posted a picture a few years back and you go look at the picture and say, did I really look like that? Let me just delete that picture. A very soft regret, so to say, in that sense, right? And there's a lot of research done to even look at the posts that are deleted. There have been papers which look at how much of posts are deleted and what kinds of posts are deleted after delta time. So regrets happen, and it'll be nice, again, it'll be nice to see if you can share your regrets, even let us say anonymize, abstract, those kind of regrets, particularly online. I have deleted some posts because I made mistakes in tagging people. I missed putting some hashtags, or I wanted to add something more to the text. I missed thanking somebody. These kind of posts I've actually deleted and posted again. Particularly Twitter is a little bit regret is more affected is because you can't edit the tweet. So you got to actually only delete the tweet and do a new post. So by that time, it's actually shown in some people's timeline. They click on it, they don't see the post. It says that post doesn't exist and you post again, they see that post again. All of that happens in Twitter generally, whereas in LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, it's easy to go at least update the text part of the post. Unfortunately, LinkedIn and all, you can't change the pictures. Facebook, you can easily go change the pictures also. If you've added a picture, you can delete that picture, change a different photograph in the post. So these regrets, right? Since I said that it's a continuum. Look at one of the extremes of regrets, if you were to think about it that way, which is this happened in 2009. I've read quite a bit about these kind of regrets that happen, which is MI6 chief blows his cover as wife's Facebook account reveals family holidays, showbiz friends, and links to David Aaron. Right? He was going to become the MI6 chief. He ended up not becoming an MI6 chief because pictures that were uploaded on Facebook, unfortunately, it also got public, and these pictures were used, and the chief did not take the appointment. To help individuals avoid regrettable online disclosures, that's what we are going to try and look at. What disclosures that people do, and can you help them change their behavior in some ways. Before we get there, the slight background for this is the idea of user behavioral change itself, right? This is by itself an area of work, persuasive technologies, it's called. Technologies that change user behavior, right? Probably you can think of it as a Fitbit. You can think of it as a Apple Watch, which is actually giving you information about your heartbeat, information about your cholesterol, whatever. And does that help change your behavior? These are persuasive technologies, right? There's an idea called bounded rationality, which is human beings behave in some rational way, but also the rationality is also bounded. There are only, user behavior happens only within a certain set of choices that are available to us, right? I think there's a book called rationally irrational or irrationally rational, something, right? So bounded rationality talks about, and Herbert Simon actually received a Nobel Prize for this work to argue that user behavior is within a set of choices that they get. Right? When you're put in a situation, what are the choices that you make? That's what bounded rationality is. And these choices that you make are always bounded by certain set of choices that you make. Only from those type of choices you end up making the decision. For example, if you look at my choice that I make is the kurta that I wear for recording, except for one part, I think I end up wearing kurta for all the recordings for this course. It's a choice that I'm making. Right? In that, I have only certain set of choices, and I try and make sure that try and do the choices, pick the choices only from the choices that I have. Because people can be irrational, no? I could come in a full shirt for some time. I could come in a t-shirt. I could come in a half sleeve shirt, whatever, right? But the choices that I pick from that, or the choices that I have, is actually slightly limited. That's what this idea of a bounded is. Take a look at it. I think it's an interesting phenomenon to know more details about it also. So biases, heuristics to affect online disclosure habits. I tend to, for example, I never use this kind of post, hashtag Delhi in before. I never used to do such kind of posts before, but today I do. Right, the choices that I've made are the disclosures that I make are because of biases and heuristics. Today I feel like I want to do it because people connect with me. I meet random people. Random people ping me, random in terms of they're connected to me in some way or the other in some social media platforms. But they connect with me saying, "Oh, you're in Delhi. I saw that you're in Delhi. Can we actually meet before you leave Delhi?" Every single trip, at least in the popular cities, I end up getting at least 1 or 2 requests like that. And smaller cities, sometimes it is possible. Sometimes the request doesn't come. Because of these regrettable moments, right, people have lost jobs, right? I post something which I should not have posted, and I'm thrown out of my job, or I don't get a job that I want. I know actually some people who have posted on social at some point in time, and then that post came back to bite them when they were being interviewed for a job, and they did not get the job. At least the feedback that the candidate got was that he did not get the job because of these kind of posts that he had done on social. People losing jobs, people losing relationships, right? You do a post with somebody and then some other person who's closer to you looks at the post and the relationship gets kind of broken or in tough waters in some sense. Behavioral economics, right? So soft paternalistic interventions that notch people. So there's a lot of research done, both in terms of technology, economics, user behavior, all of this, to show that nudges of users not just presented to users can actually change user behavior. Because of difficulty in configuring Facebook's policy, context collapse happens, right? So because this one sharing more than what they would like, if you remember the options that we saw in Facebook, which says friends of friends, anybody on Facebook, anybody on internet, right? So these are the kinds of choices that you have when you do a post, right? When I don't, for example, I've done this at some point in time, which is some post I just make it only for friends. Not now, probably 5 years before I had these kind of behavior, which is I do only the friends. And the next post I want to actually do it for public. Interestingly, the Facebook shows me only the friends. I don't really carefully look at that option because this kind of uh, the audience for the post option comes somewhere at the bottom right. You don't really look at it, and I end up posting it only to the friends. And I'll feel like, wow, nobody has actually looked at this post, or how come there are less reactions to this post, and questions like that. But that's what the collapsing problem is, context collapsing problem is. You thought that you're actually posting it public, but it did not go public. So sharing more than what they were, sharing less than also. In my case, it was more of less than. Instead of the entire network of people on Facebook or on the internet, I only ended up sending it only to my friends. So what are nudges, right? Nudges are a strong context in our life, right? Nudges are all over us. Right? The cigarette box information saying that smoking is injurious to health. That's a nudge, right? Subtle and persuasive. Example, defaults, right? Defaults in our applications that we use are actually the nudges that we get, right? Some form of a status that is given in as default to us. Let's take when you want to do a post in Facebook, the default option could be, let's take only friends. And because Facebook thinks that a common user behavior to do a post on Facebook would be only friends. So if you're interested, go see BJ Fogg. He's a faculty at Stanford. This is one of the books that I found very, very interesting, which is Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness. But the goal is, it talks about the different types of nudges that is available, that can be presented to the user, which can change user behavior. So nudges can actually help create choice architecture, which is, if I do the post as public, will I post an image versus will I post a text, right? If I'm going to do a picture only with the friends, or the post only with the friends, will I add a picture with the friend, or will I add a picture with the friend A or friend B? I took a group picture. Which pictures what are the pictures that I use to upload? I'm sure all of you do this, right? We take 50 pictures, but we upload on social only like few, because we don't want to share all the pictures that we have taken. That's the choices that you're creating, right? And can you help users make these choices by providing nudges, right? I try doing a post, and a nudge says that, look, the audience for this post is 100,000. This could go to people who you're not connected, right? All of this can come as a nudge to me, and depending on that, I can actually change my behavior, right? Encourages wanted behavior and inhibits unwanted behavior. Don't click on links. Don't open this attachment. These are all nudges given, and in the process, the user behavior is getting changed. Organization governments use nudge techniques in many ways, right? So I've said in the past, which is traffic signs, road signs. All of this are strong ways by which we actually get these nudges. So look at this, right? Simple nudge like this one, which says, now amount of calories burnt as you take the steps. and nudge here in terms of who uses which of the restroom and all that, right? This can be very, very useful to change user behavior. Here's a very technological nudge. It's a tool at MIT, which is a mailing list, right? I want to send it to BS students in spring 2023 at, right, study IITM, right, study.iitm.ac.in. If I want to send an email to this list, the first option A will give me all the profile pictures of people who are on the mailing list. 2, instead of a profile picture, it will actually show me some ads of different colors, different users. C will show me headshots, same as A. This is same as A, but it actually changes the size depending on the number of messages that I've actually exchanged with that particular user. And this would show that I've exchanged more messages to him, more to him compared to this user. Right, so this is called face mail. Interesting idea, right? What does this help? I'm sure I've done this. I'm assuming that many of you may have done this, or you may know people who have done this, which is sending the emails to wrong mailing list, or CCing the mailing list when it is not even needed, because the mail is come from X to this mailing list. You wanted to do only reply, but it ended up being reply all, and therefore the email went to the whole mailing list. This problem is the crux of the problem that FaceMail was trying to solve. If the email address is in 2CC, BCC, all that, it's going to show you this. So now you know that, look, I'm only sending an email to him. Why is all of this showing up? Right? I hope that is helping to understand what a nudge is. So here is through a couple of nudges design. The first one is a picture nudge, which is this is a public post. This is Facebook, right? If you remember, I was telling you about where does it show. This is the public one it shows. These people and anyone on the internet can see this post. Is that what you really wanted? This is what the Facebook post interface is, but there's an extra information that is given saying anyone on the internet can access your post. If that's what you want, well and good. That's okay. Go ahead and post it. Second one is timer nudge, which is this is being done to only the friends. You will have 10 seconds to cancel your post. To cancel after you post the update. This is more like the Gmail feature where you send the email and then you can actually undo the send part. Right, your post will be published in 3 seconds. Post now, edit it, and cancel. The last one, which is again only to the friends. Other people may perceive your post as negative. Your post will be published in 1 second. Post now, edit, or cancel. So this is saying I'm hungry. Right. So at some point in time, we actually talked about posts done on social, which has come back to the user and they've gotten arrested, they've gotten into trouble. All of these experiences are there on social. Those are the kind of regrets that we are talking about, right? So can you avoid those regrets because of presenting these nudges? So some researchers decided to study this problem of regrettable moments and help users make choices, provide them with these picture, timer, and sentiment nudge, and see whether users change their behavior because of that. They built a Chrome browser, they had an exit survey, they had a follow-up interviews, study was IRB approved, participants were recruited using Craigslist, flyers, emails, and other methods. 21 participants who completed the field study and 13 participated in the interview, which is 21 people participated in the study. And then after the study, there was this interviews that were done, which is follow-up interviews. 13 of them participated from 21. I don't know whether any of you have done these kind of studies. These are categories of studies. If you were to say a lab study, it would be the category this one. Given that they have actually done it in field, this is actually a real world study. Right. So it could be interviews, it could be surveys. I think in the last week I mentioned briefly also this interviews, surveys, interview surveys, focus group discussions, FGDs, cognitive walkthrough, right, lab study, and a real world study. These are the different methods in which you can actually do the data collection for any problem. So they had 2 sets of participants, which is control group and the treatment group. These are general words. You can use it for any study that you do. A control group, data collection and survey. Treatment group, which is data collection and one nudge. And then final survey and the follow-up interview. Right? So control group is necessary to understand what the user behavior of baseline is. And whatever you get here, can you compare it and show that, look, XXX is very good. That's the way you would actually set up a user study to collect data and compare the users. Right. So I think these are methods which help study user behavior. And broadly, if you're interested in any of these methods, meaning, for example, I've taken courses where these methods are just delved in detail for the entire semester. And if you're interested in these kind of courses, it's called experimental design. That's the keyword that you should look for if you're looking for courses around setting up these kind of studies. Right? Number of changes in online. So what did they do? They made users to use Facebook. They created this browser plugin. The browser plugin had some feedback, as in timer, as in the sentiment, as in the picture feed nudge that I showed you. And what did they calculate? They calculated the number of changes in online privacy settings, which is how many times they went and changed the privacy settings. Number of cancel. I wanted to post, I saw the feedback, and then I decided that, look, let me just delete the post. I'm not going to send this post. Or let me just edit this post, right? I'm angry post I type, but then I felt like, look, I think people are not going to be happy with what I say. Why don't I just mellow it down, saying, oh, I'm disturbed with whatever has happened and things like that. And post frequency, number of times they actually did the post, and then topic sensitivity, the topic that they posted, did they change before the nudge and after the nudge? One table giving you all the details of participants. So if you look at this, there is picture, there is timer, there is sentiment, there is ID for the user, gender, age, days in control treatment, nudges shown, posts in control, and posts in treatment. Right? So days in control or treatment is number of days that they were actually part of the control group, number of days that they were part of the treatment group, which is they saw the nudge, right? They saw the picture nudge. Number of nudges shown, 4, 10, depending on the activity of the user, the nudges were shown, right? If you're not even going to Facebook to post, how can I actually show you a nudge? Right? 33, 34 posts were shown because these users may have been extremely active, right? So if you see that, that's what is happening. Posts in treatment, this user seems to have posted a lot of posts. Timer, same thing. Timer group and sentiment group. And in sentiment group, you can also one more added information is positive versus negative. How many posts did they do positive? That was positive. How many posts did they do that was negative? I hope that table, I've explained everything in the table, which is participants, details of the user behavior, and some numbers explaining the behavior of the user itself. Given that it was a study done on academic campus, you can see largely the age group around the same age, except barring for one or two users who were 30 plus or 40 plus. Some participants just forgot about the plugin, which is supernatural thing that happens, and which is extremely useful for administrator of the study. Right? I signed up for the study, but I actually don't remember that I signed up for the study, and therefore my behavior is not changing. Otherwise, there's always this question about, oh look, the user may remember that they were actually part of the study, and therefore the behavior changed. Some participants remembered about the plugin, which is okay. One participant changed from friends to friends, except acquaintances. These are choices that you have. When she posted, survived on the craziest, most exhausting days ever. Friends to friends, except acquaintances. Except acquaintances meaning I want to share this only with some close friends. Another participant ended up canceling a couple of posts because of the profile picture nudge. One participant mentioned at times annoying. So these are conclusions from picture nudge. Now we are looking at observations from timer nudge. At times annoying and at times very handy. Wait for timer to expire or hit post now. Right? If you remember the timer nudge, it actually says post now also is given at this point in time itself. You don't really wait for that 10 seconds. I just say post now and move on, because I know that the post that I want to do, I really want to do the post. Make it more public when it was venting type, right? When the content is created, can the post be made public, right? Make it more public when it was venting type. I wanted to make this post in a public way, right? I did not want to keep it only with friends or friends of friends. Right. Another participant said, made me think about the post, canceled a few because of thinking. That's probably the kind of behavior that we want in terms of users changing their behavior and deleting the post. Sentiment nudge. Nudge was missing the context. Error in finding the sentiment. This is probably because more of the NLP problem or a technology problem rather than the user behavior problem. Many participants cancel their post because of the nudge. Post frequency reduced for sensitive information from 13 to 7. Right, that kind of helps, right? That kind of, you can see that the nudges presented are changing the user behavior. Technical complaints, Facebook page lag because of the app, because of the extension. Facebook was taking some time in getting so that is about observations from sentiment nudge. Now let's look at the technical complaints, right? Facebook page lag, because Facebook also, because this is a browser extension, there's a chance that the code, whatever is making analysis, is taking time for Facebook to show the post, show the nudge. And when they use the nudge and when they use the browser extension and post, it's taking time for it to post because the code of the extension may be doing something. Exit survey, I had time to think about what I posted and whether or not I really wanted to be represented in that way. Participants had a positive perception about the timers. The general feedback, timers, participants felt it is good. I think that feature is very, very good. I've done a lot of times of undo and then gone and checked, oh, I missed somebody to CC, or I could have written this email a little better, all of that. Missing CC and 2 is the most common one. Takeaways, right? So stop and think. There was campaigning around this in terms of phishing, in terms of security things, about stop and think. Stop, don't click on the link, or stop, think whether you want to click on the link and then do it. That's the campaign. Content feedback, you're getting feedback about in the sentiment nudge, you're getting feedback about the post itself. Pay attention to the audience, which is friends of friends, all that. Missing other browsers, it was done, it's a Chrome browser extension, so it was not happening in any other browser. So can it be done in another browser? Biases in the results because of Chrome browser itself, right? Because the user that are using Chrome browsers have a certain type of behavior, and therefore it could have biased the results. Interested in this? These are some papers you should definitely look at. Privacy Nudges for Social Media, an exploratory Facebook study. Field trial for Privacy Nudges for Facebook. The field trial is the crux of the study. In one graph, you could actually see all the things that they had done in the study, which is on the x-axis. It is the day of the study. Y-axis is the participant, very similar to the table that we showed earlier in the slides about 3 conditions and participants in the study. This one has certain other details, which is edit. I edited the post. I canceled the post. I went to change the privacy settings, which is, for example, this user, if you have to understand, on the day 15 of the study, which is this a real world study, right? They gave the users to install the browser Chrome extension and use it. On the day 15, participant 19 went and edited the privacy settings and edited the post that the user did. In comparison to this user, which is on day 10, participant 10 went and changed the privacy settings and canceled the post. That's how you read this graph. Fantastic representation of the data itself, and you can easily see that how many people are actually editing the post. A lot of people have edited the post, lots of blue circles. Some people have canceled it, and privacy settings, some people have done this. So for example, this user just did the privacy. And if you also look at from a user point of view, some users are very, very active. Participant 19, participant 10, participant 6. These 3 users have a lot of action on the row. Right. Here is a quick activity for you to try out if you can do it. Again, these are all parts of classes for you to get some excitement around the topic, right? Otherwise, it's just listening to my lecture, looking at graded, ungraded, and practice questions, answer them, and you're done. I mean, that's definitely one way. That's probably the minimum that you should be doing. Hopefully you're doing the ungraded and the practice questions also. But here is an activity. Find instances of, even in the last week content, I gave you some activity, right? Linkability activity that I had given. Find instances of regrettable disclosures, which is, think of places where people could have regret when they post something, you yourself or somebody else. If you were to think about more ways to nudge the user, we just saw this timer, picture and sentiment, right? There may be other ways to nudge the user. Can you think of another ways to nudge the user and share it with us? Think of instances of regrettable nudge disclosures and nudge icons also, nudge ideas. So hopefully I will get some ideas, thoughts in discourse about what all this is, what the nudges are. Feel free to ask questions if you have any, and definitely go take a look at these papers, or generally search for these terms. At different places I've actually said search for these terms. Take a look at them, and if you have any questions, ask in discourse. Thanks for listening.